This is the story of how I joined his server, got into a Minecraft Java SMP without having Java, became the master of padlocks and made millions of dollars. Let's start at the beginning. On the YouTube old I watch videos with, I was surfing the algorithm, like I tend to do when my subscriptions are all watched and I have nothing to do. While looking through my recommended, I saw a video where someone claimed to have built a prison stronger than Pandora's Vault, a famously unescapable prison. Naturally, I was interested and learned about Poseidon's Vault, a prison even stronger. In the recommendations under that video, I saw something even more interesting. A guy named Zedantic, a small YouTuber with around 1000 subscribers at the time, claimed to have broken out of said vault and showcased the method he used. He sounded pretty young, but the video wasn't bad, so I watched it. When I was about to move on, he started advertising his Discord and claimed he would start an SMP soon that you could apply for. This struck my interest, as a YouTuber that size wasn't completely out of my reach. I usually don't join Discord servers, but this time I actually clicked the link. Upon arrival, I was greeted with the Discord server just bursting with activity. I don't have a screenshot of it, since I never expected to make a video out of this, but the general chat was the most active I had ever seen. Apparently, the idea of getting into an SMP had drawn in more people than I thought. None of the channels were named Application or something similar, so I asked in general and quickly got a response. The applications were closed. This was weird, to say the least. The video had only been up for a few hours and had views around equal to Zedantic's subcount. The server itself had only around 200 members at the time as well. How many could have applied? Not that many, right? Out of curiosity, I looked through the channels and eventually found what once was the applications channel. It was named Sorry, closed right now, and now is deleted, but most importantly, in it were at least 60 messages spelling out apply. The command used to apply, and they stopped coming almost 5 hours ago, when it was 2 AM for me. Well, crap. What now? I asked in general if anyone knew if and when the applications would open again, but the only answer I got was, maybe next Saturday. But Saturday was a whole week away, and there was no way I would get in if I was one among hundreds, with absolutely nothing going for me. While pondering, I continued to talk in general for a bit. At this point, I should probably explain that Zedantic's server had a leveling system. The more active you were, the higher your level was, as you got experience for every minute you wrote something in the chat. When I looked into the bot interaction channel, I saw that a bot named MEE6 was moderating the system and reacted to 2 commands: rank and levels. The person with the highest level and therefore rank number 1 was Endercraft3. He was on level 12, even over the owner Zedantic himself, and stood pretty much uncontested as number 1. No way I was beating that. But if I could at least get into the top 10... General was a mess. I realized when I came back to it after that. People like me kept asking how to apply, and everyone else was getting more and more annoyed, so I fled the scene. One of the channels was called Taco Shack, but there wasn't a whole lot to do. Just waiting around and issuing a command every 5 minutes. Exciting. So I checked out the channel next to it. Dank Meme. I had no clue what I was getting into. When I entered Dank, absolute hell was loose. All I saw was people using please rob left and right, stealing money from each other and laughing in delight as they did. Now this was right up my alley. Since I had absolutely no idea what I was doing, and there didn't seem to be any tutorial, I just observed for a bit. I learned that with Please Rich, you could see who had the most money, and with Please Balance, check your own wallet and bank. Even the owner himself, Zedantic, was participating and taking a hit at the person on top of the list, but he failed. Thinking I understood everything now, I hesitantly tried the same as he did. I didn't fail. I didn't rob a small or medium portion. I robbed the richest person on the server, the guy who possessed more than $1 million of everything he had. And suddenly, I was on top of the world. The chat went nuts. Some nobody had just flipped the economy on its head right under the owner's nose. Zedantic also promptly asked me to give him all my money, but I just said no lol and continued to buy a rifle and a fishing rod. The only two items I knew existed and knew the purpose of. I didn't know what to do with the rest of it, but I had had enough for now and called it a day. The next morning, I woke up broke. Well, fuck. I guess I should have seen this coming. What now? I remember the ranking system once again and moved back into general. Even though that channel is even more unbearable than the day before, I pick up an interesting info. How the leveling bot measures XP. There's also a spam channel, and I move there and ponder. Is there a way to break the bot? Spamming was not only boring, but also seemed extremely ineffective. But then, I hit the jackpot. Through experimentation with messages, I found an exploit, a loophole, that would let me AFK for easy XP without ever installing any bots, at least from what it seemed. I basically broke the system. So I didn't use it. Call me lame all you want, but using cheap tactics to climb the ranks and get what I want didn't feel right to me. I may be good at finding loopholes, but I have standards, I think. Instead, I went back to Dankmima and started again. Luckily, I had my fishing pole and my hunting rifle, which meant that with Please Fish and Please Hunt, I had two pretty reliable income sources. I also quickly learned about Please Search and Please Bag, two more ways of income you didn't even need anything for. So I spent my time cycling through all these commands, timing the cooldowns, chatting, robbing small amounts of people, learning how to defend yourself against robbery. I learned about passive mode, a way to pussy out of any way to be robbed, but I had no clue how to use it or how exactly it worked. What bugged me from the beginning were that most of the rich people on the server were in passive mode, making them untouchable. Cowards. It was around this time that I started to make enough money to attract robbers. The first notable one, well, next to Zedantic, but we'll get there, is Callum. Callum was unlike the other members who usually tried once and then gave up. He greeted me and then started his attempts at robbing the shit out of me. But I had learned. See, there's this little thing called Padlock. It costs 5k, and if you use it, any attempt to rob you will immediately fail. After that, it breaks. I had a few, and I was online to use them. Callum quickly realized this was a battle he couldn't win, and we had a casual talk instead. After it came to us that we had the same goal, we basically teamed up. Cheering each other on, congratulating ourselves if we pulled off a robbery, exchanged greetings when we went online. Shortly after bonding with Callum, someone in the bot interaction channel either found out a loophole or it glitched. Anyway, the apply bot was working in a channel it wasn't supposed to, which led to a small wave of people being there at just the right time, including me. I didn't really have any great hopes to actually get accepted of this request, since it definitely was completely unintended. There was a high chance the application sent with this exploit would just be rejected automatically. So I did what I did best and went back to Dank, robbing people. Then, Zedantic tried again. An endurance battle ensued. He withdraws 250, he loses 250 when trying to rob me with my padlock on, my padlock breaks, I use another padlock, rinse and repeat. I am strangely determined to fight off this burglar that had been trying to get his paws on my cash since day one. As Zedantic seems to get more exhausted with fighting with my endless wall of padlocks, I jokingly say I might give up if he let me into the SMP. I also show him that I am, at this point, under the top 10 rank-wise, since I have been talking a lot in Dank, farming XP. He doesn't respond with anything else, then more tries to get my box. To send him a signal, I buy 50k worth of padlocks, a proof of determination. When he sees that, he laughs, has the audacity to send me an L and backs off, claiming that I'm broke and that he made me spend all my money on padlocks. I win. And from there on, padlocks are kinda my thing. Even though Zedantic claimed otherwise, I still have the majority of money left and don't regret spending 50k on padlocks at all. You can never have enough of those. What happens next was extremely unexpected, and I honestly thought it was a joke at first. Zedantic contacts me and invites me into the SMP. I wish I could have seen his face when I told him I had to buy Java first, but after doing that, I joined. Huh. I could have just left the server at this point. My goal had been achieved, but dang, was just too much fun, especially now that I had Callum by my side. My decision stood. I wasn't done. Time to get to the top of Place Ridge. So I go on a robbing spree. From the top of the robber's wishlist, an item which shows every robbable user, so every user not in passive mode, to its bottom. One of the bigger fishes is a guy called IceFox with the nickname Existence. I rob him of 200k and move on. A few hours or so later, I get a very angry message.
Damn it, you.
Why me?
You robbed me.
I did.
Dank.
Why do you think that?
I saw the message by Dank.
Oops.
Also, I get pinged every time.
Velp, I got robbed $1 million once. It's just how it goes.
Well, at least you had $1 million.
I got lucky. I robbed the richest person there was. But I didn't know anything, so I woke up broke today.
Well, that's just karma. Honestly, you didn't just rob me?
Everyone was robbing everyone. I thought that's just how it works.
I can turn on passive mode, but I had to turn it off.
Why?
Well, somebody wanted to give me stuff, so I did, and then got robbed.
You need to deactivate passive for that?
Yes.
Velp.
So,
I'm get robbed of everything again probably, but that's just how it is.
Yep.
You can try to get your money back, but you might struggle. Or die. I learned. Good luck.
He tries. I get out my padlocks, and we battle. After a while, Fox recognizes that this is actually kinda fun, and I have to agree. The way of the padlock is a fun one to follow when it leads to stuff like this. He wasn't the first to try this at that day though, as I had already defeated Zedantic, and I wasn't gonna back down now. Eventually he gave up, but promised to try again later. He actually did rob some smaller chunks of me when I stopped using padlocks to let him try to get through my other defenses. Despite this, we're on pretty friendly terms, and by watching him and Loser, another user, I learn about pets and get a cat. I immediately max in defense. Nice. Guess who showed up the next day? Zedantic again! A half-hearted attempt at stealing from me that stops when he learns I own 38 padlocks. With this boost in confidence, me and Callum team up to rob even more people. This time I suggest a better strategy. Since, when you try to rob someone and fail, you lose a certain percentage of your coins, if Callum gave me all of his coins and would do the robbing alone, we would lose almost none of our cash. And with me, master of padlock, the money was safe. It turned out to be a pretty solid strategy that was based on nothing but thin trust. I was climbing the ranks and the place rich, but still was a good chunk from the top. That was about to change. Out of nowhere, this guy called Diego showed up. He had lots of money, extremely good stuff, and was determined to add my cash to his wallet, like everyone else. So I took out my padlocks, and he took out this, $500 at a time. Diego has to be the most persistent guy that tried to get my cash up to that point. But during all this, we struck up a nice, calm conversation whenever I didn't use a padlock or he used police rob and was waiting for the cooldown. We bonded over the ins and outs of robbing, talked about pets and their stats, bugged padlocks. Then he randomly asked about my content and subscribed. When I told him I had to go offline to do something for school, he paused his robbing attempts and waited for me to come back. He would give people their money back if they were cool about it. The reckless rob machine out of nowhere turned out to be a really nice guy with similar social struggles and interests to me. Around 30 padlocks later, I finally asked him why he was robbing me of all people. There were richer guys after all, but he just said that they were all in passive, or as he called it, pussy mode. I reminded him of the robber's wish list, and he immediately chose another target. I realized how busted he was. He realized how good I was at protecting money. So we did the only natural thing and teamed up. The unstoppable robber and the unbreakable safe. As soon as Diego gave me all the money he couldn't fit in his bank and I actually didn't betray him, the fate of the rich people in the server was sealed. I chose a target from the robber's wish list. Diego robbed it. Then he gave me the money. Rinse and repeat. The robber's list went from looking like this to this. We also tried a heist in Fed, but that's beside the point. We also played some Minecraft Bedrock since Diego didn't have Java, but didn't know the server was a Java SMP, so I just created a new world. We continued to rob. And finally, I was on top of the world. Honorable mentions! 3, 2, 1, go! Joshua 55, who gave me back the 11k I lost while trying to rob him. Callum, who got banned after saying his age wrong. F. Loser, who gambled away his millions and then tried to rob me with an unseen persistence but still failed. Skkrify, who questioned the existence of girls. IceFox, who knows when to pull out. AmMuichirouTokito, whom I helped get started. Turokyo and Mr Hotdog, who tried to rob me but failed. Zedantic, who made the server in the first place. DiegoSoSwag, the best guy with a maid dress profile picture I have ever met. Padlock, for being Padlock.